Hello everyone, and welcome to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Care Network. I'm Dean, the host of this channel, and I'll be taking you on a journey through narcissism, understanding the narcissist, and understanding the narcissist's related disorders. Today I'm going to be presenting to you episode 56, which is entitled The Narcissist Perspective in Devaluation and Discard. The idealization of the victim is a necessary evil within the mind of the narcissist. The narcissist can place great praise upon their appliances and victims, idealizing them, then having to knock their victims down to nothings. This can be a very difficult state for a narcissist as well as their victim. For a healthy person to overcome disappointment is within that person's coping mechanism as a mind state that's utilized on a functional basis for a healthy-minded individual. But for a narcissist, their view of idealization and evaluation equates to, I have everything or I have nothing. The more the narcissist is convinced of the perfection of their narcissistic supply sources, the higher the narcissist envisions themselves as being. The more important the people and appliances around them are, the more important the narcissists themselves must be. Narcissists are by their natures creatures of association. The better you look, the smarter you are, and the more you have, the better the narcissist appears. The more high value the supply, the better and the more superior the narcissist feels. The narcissist lives in a fantasy world of viewing and judging themselves by what fuel sources they have surrounded themselves by. So when the narcissist's fuel supply falters or is devalued by the narcissist, this can invariably cause great injury to not only the narcissist victim, but to the narcissist themselves. Suddenly the narcissist views their prized appliance in the light of being a thing they can no longer function with. And this can send the narcissist into a downward spiral of escalating devaluation that sends the narcissist into a state of unstable behavior that can herald the need to detach from their no longer perfect dream appliance and seek a replacement source in a frantic type of desperation. All of this can completely emotionally unbalance the narcissist and provoke other narcissistic disorders within the narcissist NPD to become even worse. Some of these disorders, of course, that we've discussed in the past being anxiety disorder, dissociative disorder, some of the other things that are within the confines of narcissistic personality disorder will become much more heightened when the narcissist is going through emotional trauma and imbalance with their appliances. Once the narcissist enters the discard phase of things, they experience similar feelings to a normal individual, feeling loss, but perhaps in an even more exaggerated state. The narcissist mourns the loss of a special relationship with their victim or supply because the narcissist often envisions that supply as having been so special to them. This in turn can cause a great trauma to the narcissist and to their ego and affect the fragile balance in their mind state, at times even triggering an increased psychotic state and further unbalancing the narcissist in temporarily damaging ways. If, for example, the narcissist is subjected to a forced separation in which his victim has perhaps escaped the narcissist's clutches and has now forced the narcissist into a no contact situation, the resulting effect on the narcissist can be quite damaging. If the victim has perhaps also outed the narcissist in a public manner to the narcissist's peers, the resulting trauma to the narcissist can be devastating to the narcissist, even if the narcissist may know how to handle public affairs in such an event. The narcissist's perspective can be just as damaging to their state of being during a discard, if not even more damaging than to a normal person. as the narcissist state of mind cannot cope with emotional trauma like a normal person's brain can due to its compromised biological and physical state. This can cause great distress to the narcissist, and even in certain instances may cause a permanent trauma or damage to the narcissistic psychological state if the discard is of a permanent separation nature. This is in reality how the narcissist reacts to this discard or devaluation phase. It is in reality very hard on the narcissist's mind in many ways to deal with putting a victim through a cyclic phase of a discard. The narcissist feels similar trauma to the emotional state of being as their victim does, albeit in many different ways. So basically, when narcissists are going through a devaluation phase, this is not true, won't be true of 100% of all narcissists, but because narcissists are saccadic and because they function very much the same way from narcissist to narcissist, even depending on their levels of narcissism, they all actually interpret narcissistic devaluation phases within themselves pretty much the same way. So we may not think that this affects the narcissist in very damaging ways. It does. It just affects them differently than normal thinking people like you and I. We feel things a certain way. A narcissist feels similar things, but in a different manner. And this affects them in damaging ways as well, too, that may be even more damaging than us, because we as normal thinking individuals are able to process this trauma and find some way around it. But due to the narcissist damaged brain function that has formed over time and formed into adulthood with them, they don't deal with these things the same way that we do, and the trauma that's caused to them when they're putting us through a devaluation or through a discard also affects them in very, very extreme ways. So this is basically the perspective of most narcissists from my understanding in the research that I have done. And I wanted to just convey this to all you narcissistic abuse victims out there on the N.A.R.C.N network, to give you a little perspective of how the narcissist can see things. So when they're putting us through a devaluation or a discard, they're going through some extreme things themselves. This doesn't help us as the narcissistic victims much, except for allowing us to understand what the narcissist may actually be going through themselves. And it may help us to understand things from their perspective and better understand ourselves. So this has been episode 56. I'm going to say to you guys, stay tuned on the N.A.R.C.N network. I have some new episodes coming up very shortly. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm going to catch you guys again very soon.